So the DA has been taken to court over its controversial flag-burning advertisement. Zuko Madikane has asked the Gauteng High Court to declare the DA to be in gross violation of sections of the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act of 2000. The party commissioned the advertisement, which depicts the country's national flag in flames. We spoke to the DA earlier this week regarding the ad, and this is what the Federal Executive Chairperson Helen Zille had to say.
If you watch that video, you will see that it's not the Democratic Alliance burning that flag. It is the coalition between the ANC, MK and the EFF that is burning that flag. That's the whole point we're making. South Africa will burn to ashes under that coalition. And at the end of the video, you see the flag restored in all its glory. Rescue SA, vote DA. That's the whole point. South Africans surely can understand metaphor. We never burnt a real flag. That's a digital image. We're showing that if the ANC, MK and EFF come to power, South Africa will burn. All right. If we want to restore the flag and to restore the hope of this prosperous democracy that we once shared, the only way to do it is through voting DA.
And let's now bring in Zuko Madikane to unpack his case. He's now joining us in studio. Zuko, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you very
in your
much.
application, you also go as far as saying that this is racist conduct. It is depicting the burning of the flag and selling a narrative that South Africa, under the ANC and the EFF and other progressive black movements, is burning and deserves no delay in a speedy resolution, more especially during the period of the national elections. What do you base this on?
Thank you very much. If one has a proper understanding of the DA's advertisement, especially the message contained therein, first of all, one has to take into account that the flag itself represents where we come from as a country. It represents our diversity, the history of South Africa. To literally or even electronically burn a national flag is simply indicative of a person or people that do not value South Africa and where we come from. Secondly, the Democratic Alliance in its advertisement clearly states that imagine a coalition between the ANC, they use deliberately the word violent EFF, and corrupt Mr. Zuma. The country will be, the lives of the people will be destroyed. That is clearly showing that the DA is undermining, because in any event, if people do decide to vote for the ANC, EFF or Mr. Zuma, they do so being permitted by Section 19 of the Constitution, which clearly states that every person has got a right to participate and to elect a government of their choice. So the DA has got no business whatsoever in trying to indoctrinate and plant a seed of fear in the minds of the people that black government is incapable, because they are classifying, putting everyone in one bucket.
But would it be here a certain black government, not just necessarily black government in its totality, a certain black government?
Well,
so being more specific, because here they're specifically speaking about the ANC, specifically speaking about the EFF, specifically speaking about Jacob Zuma as well.
Well, the DA, from the analysis of the advert itself, the DA has made it clear, even in its campaign, that its primary enemies is the EFF and any other political party that may work with them. So they don't fear the ANC, that is clear. Their biggest fear, and they know that kingmakers in these elections will be the EFF. That is why they intentionally used the word violent, but nowhere we can say, and I don't speak on behalf of the EFF because I'm not ordained to do that, but clearly understanding politics and understanding the real message of the Democratic Alliance, they seek to falsely indoctrinate and plant a seed in the mind of South Africans that any black it is clearly specific that any black government will be incapable.
But that's where I'm saying that they're not saying any. It's quite specific.
Yes,
it's quite specific. If you're going to go with the narrative of a black government, they don't mention black, but of course, these political parties are led by black people. So it's quite specific.
Yes.
Then on the issue of Why is it that you believe that this advert constitutes and promotes, constitutes a violation and also promotes hate speech and incites violence?
Thank you very much. Well, I've clearly stipulated one of the most important aspects of that advert. They say that one must understand that hate speech is mostly informed by the actual effect of the message. Intent is equally irrelevant. So the DA, there's case law to that effect, and that will come translucently in the case that will be argued to.
Which case law are you referring to?
It's the appeal, Supreme Court of Appeal, the case of AfriForum versus Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Is this now on the
Yes.
on the apartheid flag?
Yes, yes.
Okay, but how is that relevant to this?
It is relevant on the basis that the Democratic Alliance is clearly saying that, well, hate speech in this instance is on the basis that you send a message that incites violence or that propagates harm. Because the message itself, it propagates harm. It actually mentions that it places South Africans in a position whereby, in any event that the EFF, ANC, or Mr. Zuma may win elections, South Africans must preempt or must not accept a democratically elected government. So in that event, any South African, if you look at it also, there are annexures that have attached in the court papers where some of the people say we must ban the DA, the flag, because they do not respect South Africa. Remember, incitement of violence and hate speech doesn't have to be actual. The manner in which the message is sent and the action that can be taken thereafter by the person or the narrative that is taken by the electorate is the test for the court.
Okay, and you don't see it as freedom of speech?
I don't see
exercise of freedom of speech?
Yes, one must understand that in exercising freedom of speech, there's what you call Section 16.2 of the Constitution, which excludes certain freedom of speech, which is Section 16.2A to C, states the following, that you cannot promote violence, you cannot promote hate speech, you cannot incite hatred. Yes, so that speech is limited in that extent. To that extent.
All right. We also then, when we raised this court application with Helen Ziller,
yes,
we made reference to the Star article that ran.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen the article across the front
yes.
page about 2 days ago.
Yes.
And this was her response.
Do you accept that this guy is a human rights lawyer? Actually, if you just do a little bit of research, you'll find that he is a fraudster who was found guilty of fraud in January 2023 and who is taking us to court purporting to be a human rights lawyer when he's got actually no grounds to do it. Because if he was a lawyer, he'd look up at PEPUDA, the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act, and he would see that this doesn't qualify as hate speech. He's posturing.
Yeah.
And if you guys and Mashudu Sadike did the slightest bit of research, the headline on this paper would be, bogus lawyer pretends to lay charges against the DA.
What's your response to that?
Thank you very much. One would have expected that from Helen Zille, because what is the most important point of all this thing is that the application has got sense, and the application...
But are you a human rights lawyer?
Here's the thing. The case that she's referring to is before 3 judges in the High Court. And I've got legal counsel that is dealing with that matter. And I've taken counsel...
But are you a human rights lawyer?
I'm a person who has a qualification in law, but I'm not yet qualified as a lawyer.
So you're not a human rights lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
But
so when the Star wrote the article, you saw the article,
yes.
Did you tell the journalist that you're a human rights lawyer?
I did advise the journalist that I bring the application in my personal capacity.
Yeah.
I'm bringing that application...
Sure. No, that's fine that you brought it in your personal capacity, but are you a human rights lawyer? You are not, and you didn't tell the Star reporter that you are not a human...
Yes, that is the case.
Did you, after the article came out, did you call them to say, hey guys, listen, there's been a mistake, I'm not a human rights lawyer?
If you look at the article thereafter, they did correct the position and advised that we did have a conversation and that this application is brought in my personal capacity. What one must also understand, Adrian, is the fact that whether you are a human rights lawyer or you are a journalist, Section 38 of the Constitution permits that any person can bring an application to court in their own interest or in the public interest. That is Section
But I just quickly want to read this judgment here. It is from 2023. Judge Sinyachi says the following about you. On the 21st of June 2023, Mr. Mbata appeared before me and stated that it came as a shock to him that Mr. Madikane was not a legal practitioner because he had claimed to be one to him. So, did you claim to any of your previous clients that you were a lawyer?
Well, in that instance, I think even one to look at the appeal that was filed before Judge...
No. The question is, did you claim that you were a lawyer?
No, not at all. We operated...
But you confirmed that you drafted papers as well.
And there is no law...
As purporting to be a lawyer representing these people.
Yes. May I please correct the position? Okay. There is no law that prevents anyone from drafting court papers.
Yes. No, but purporting to be a lawyer, that is unlawful.
That is the case.
Okay.
Now,
then also, it goes on to say in the order that this judgment must be referred to the Director of Public Prosecutions for violations of contravention of Section 33 of the Legal Practice Act number 23 of 2014. Can you confirm whether any case has been brought against you as far as this matter is concerned?
No, there's no case that has been opened.
There's no case that has been brought against you.
And for that matter, even if it were, I have got advocates and attorneys to attend to that. So at any point that I get a call from the NPA or whoever, I will instruct attorneys to deal with that.
Yeah.
So it is a matter that will be dealt with accordingly.
Okay then, thank you so much. But there was another matter also where you were convicted, right? And you were ordered to pay around 10,000 rand to
that matter is the one that is
the owner of News Cafe.
That is the matter that is...
Where you purported to be a lawyer as well.
Here's the thing. That is exactly what is important for you to understand and the public to understand. It is exactly that judgment that is before 3 judges, before the High Court. And that is exactly why we say to the High Court, mind you, you must understand, when the appeal was heard before the magistrate, who is supposedly to be the hero of South Africa, who himself accepted in court and disallowed us to make an argument on appeal, said that I was wrong. It is the magistrate that on whose judgment you're relying on. That said in court, I don't want to advocate to argue. I've read the appeal, I've read the papers. Don't argue, I'm granting you the appeal. So the case is before the High Court, before 3 judges. And I will try to refrain on making any submissions on that because judges have to decide on that case.
And you didn't purport to be a lawyer to him?
Exactly. That is why even the guy from News Cafe even told the court that I was happy with the services that I got from the organization of this gentleman.
Zuko, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate that you come through for us. Come through to the studio and let's see how your case against the Democratic Alliance is going to play out in court. Thank you so much.
We're very ready and thank you very much.
All right.